Welcome to the Oligo News. The China versus US trade war is getting more intense. Today, China's finance ministry announced a massive move. Starting Thursday, China will put 84% tariffs on all US goods. Yes, you heard it right, 84% tariffs. This is a big jump from the 34% tariffs they had announced earlier. These new China tariffs will start from on the 10th of April. This move came after US President Donald Trump increased US tariffs on Chinese goods to a shocking 104%. That's almost double in just 1 week. China is very angry. They called the US tariffs arrogant and bullying. Just a few days ago, China had announced 34% tariffs on US goods, and also export controls on rare earth minerals. Rare earth minerals are very important for electronics and clean energy products. In response, Trump hit back. He added another 50% tariff on China, and also said that negotiations are over. Before all this, the US only had 10% tariffs on China. But Trump said China was a tariff abuser, and that they were robbing billions from the US economy. Then came Trump's big idea, the reciprocal tariff policy. Under this, the US will charge half the tariff that other countries charge on US goods. For China, this meant an extra 34%, taking the total US tariff on China to 44%. Then on April 2nd, things escalated again. The White House said there's a national emergency because of trade deficits. So, the US put a baseline 10% tariff on all countries. For China, this brought the total to 54%. But that wasn't the end. Trump added an extra 50% tariff just for China, making the final US tariff on China 104%. China is not stepping back. They raised their own tariff to 84% on all US imports. They said they will fight to the end. But China has not said anything about returning to trade talks. They are not doing what other countries are doing, negotiating. This back and forth is bad for everyone. It may stop trade between China and the US completely. That's bad news for import-export businesses and global trade. The US stock market is already feeling the pain. After China's new tariff, US E-mini futures dropped more than 1%. This includes major indexes like the Dow Jones, S&P 500, and Nasdaq. US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said this trade war is a losing game for China. He also said, China is the worst offender in the global trade system. When asked about removing Chinese companies from US stock exchanges, he said, everything is on the table. Let's look at the numbers. In 2024, the US exported $143.5 billion of goods to China. But it imported $438.9 billion of goods from China. That's a huge trade gap. And that's what started this whole trade war. Global markets are now shaking. Experts say this is the biggest trade disruption since the 1930s. But Trump still left the door open. He said on his social media, Truth Social, China wants to make a deal, badly, but they don't know how. We are waiting for their call. Now, the world is watching. Will China call? Will the US-China trade war finally end? Or is it just getting started? For English news you can also visit our news website www.theoligo.com. Thank you for your valuable time.